The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. And today we have another gentleman that is part of the Fishbowl Radio Network Familia. He is a DJ, radio personality, host of the Candeman Show, which shows sports, entertainment, podcast, and it comes every Tuesday night, 9 to 11. He has his co-host, Alice Cortez, DJ Sancho Claus, which I like that name, by the way. We have DJ Candeman Candelario, a.k.a. Candy Lopez. Hello, sir.
What's up, bro? How's it going?
Doing great, man. Welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate you, man. You flipped the script on me, man. Like I said, I'm not used to being on this side.
Yeah, true, because we're going to talk about all that and everything that you do. But first, we're going to get to a segment, what I like to call Preguntas al Chile. So right now we got some graphics.
Preguntas al Chile.
If you have not subscribed to YouTube, go ahead and do it so you can see all the graphics. If you're on sound only, Spotify, Apple, and all, they appreciate you very much. Here we go. You ready?
All right, let's go.
They're going to be tough, bro.
Oh, shit.
Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
Corn tortillas, flour tortillas?
It depends on what I'm going to eat. If it's breakfast, I like doing flour.
Mm-hmm.
Dinner, I'll do corn.
Good. Gorditas o sopes?
Ooh, gorditas.
Gorditas. Mexican coca o jarritos?
Ooh. Jarritos.
Which flavor?
That's a good question.
Tamarindo.
Tamarindo, yeah. I gotta go with tamarindo, yeah.
Okay. Agua de horchata, jamaica o tamarindo?
Horchata.
Okay. Salsa verde, salsa roja?
Oh, yeah. Once again, it's gotta depend on what I'm eating. But most of the time, it's verde.
Salsa verde.
Yeah.
My favorite. Menudo pozole?
If after a heavy night of drinking is menudo.
To rehydrate?
Yeah.
Churros o flan?
Churros.
Okay. Corona, Dos Equis, Modelo, Victoria beer?
See, and it's crazy because I'm not really of a beer drinker anymore. I don't drink beer no more.
But if you were to have no last thing,
it'd probably be Modelo, yeah.
Modelo.
Yeah.
Okay, what about tequila o mezcal?
Honestly, that's a good question. It's going to be mezcal, and the only reason is because I had tried some new mezcal. I had a guess.
Give him a plug.
Yeah, De Nopales Imports. He brought some samples, and he brought it's called Mezcal Descartes. So good. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with mezcal.
You get a hangover the next day?
No.
Oh, interesting.
It's good like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, shout out to them. And Valentina, Tapatio, Cholula, hot sauce.
Damn. I'm gonna have to go with Tapatio.
Okay. You know the little Mexican candy, the paletitas? They have the sandia, elote, mango, which you like.
Yeah. I do the sandia.
The sandia. Okay, and the conchitas, the breads, the brown ones, the white ones.
Pink.
The pink
I do
ones.
the pink.
They're the pink ones. All right. And when you hear the word Latino, what comes to mind at first?
When I hear Latino?
Yeah. The word in general.
The word in general. You know what? It's when I hear Latino, I guess I hear it's a blend of all, of Latin America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got from Mexico, but you also got Ecuador. You know what I mean? It's like all Latin America. So I hear when I hear that, I just hear a mixture of all the Latino, like all the genres together.
All right. Awesome. What about, do you identify as a Latino? Do you care if anybody says anything like that to you?
You know what? It's crazy because it's like when they see me at first, they don't really see me as, especially when I used to have the long hair. They never thought of me as Latino. They thought I was Native American. They thought I was Eskimo,
From the
Tongan.
islands. From the
Yeah,
islands,
I got Tongan, Hawaiian. I got everything else, but Latino. It's like it doesn't bug me. I know a lot of people who are saying, no, soy mexicano or soy de Ecuador, Colombia. When they tell me if I'm Latino, it's like they'll ask me, "Are you Latino?" Like, well, yeah, but then they'll ask me, are you Mexican, Ecuador? You know what I mean? Like, and I'll tell them I'm, Mexican. I mean, I guess you could say Mexican American because I was born here, but like my mother was Nueva León or Monterrey.
Monterrey.
My pop was in Brownsville, Harlingen down there.
So you're first generation Mexicano born Mexican. So you're Mexican American.
Yeah.
I don't get why they're not. We able to call Irish American back in the day or Scottish American.
Yeah.
And now it's just Americans, but we can't shake off the Mexican American. I guess what, third, fourth generation kind of it gets shaken off.
I guess it depends on the people, because it's like there's a lot of like Irish American, and they're like they want to be identified. They're like, yeah, I may be American, but I'm Irish.
Yeah.
Ireland. My family's from Ireland. So yeah, it just depends on the people themselves.
True.
Because they want to show, hey, yes, I'm American, but my ancestry, you know what I mean? They want to show their ancestry, you know what I mean? Like, I'm Irish American.
That's true, too. And it should. I mean, why not? I mean, if that's what your grandparents, your ancestors came from, they went through a lot of struggle and to make it over here. Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't that easy for a lot of people, Irish and all them coming over. And they had it hard for a long time, too, because they were looked down upon for a long time.
Yeah.
And then, to be proud, like, hey, we came way over here, across a whole entire ocean to get here. And now, we want to be both.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, so you were the actual first show for Fishbowl Radio Network that houses many shows that get millions of impressions monthly. Yeah. You were the very first show.
Yes. It was me, and it was a really good friend of mine who's no longer with us, Melly Mel.
I'm sorry for your loss, brother. I've seen the post. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's the one that talked me into doing this.
Nice.
I didn't really, because we both went to American Broadcasting School. We did all that. We got our diplomas and everything. But it's like, the first day of that whole class, they're like, well, DFW is top 5 in the hardest to get a job in mainstream radio. It is. And I was like, I wish you would have told me this before I gave you my money. But we went through it. We did it and everything, and I like doing all the behind the scenes stuff. I did all the studio production. I had no problem being program director. I had no problem being music director, doing all that stuff.
Right.
And then they're like, well, no, you got to get on the mic. And that was like my one thing. I was like, I don't want to get on the mic.
Really?
It's like you had to write your own commercials, but you had to voice them. I hated the sound of my voice.
Why is that?
There's something about it. I don't know. It's like I feel like I sound like a dork. I don't know.
At that time.
You know what? I still kind of cringe a little bit to this day. I still do. It's like, it's like every time I rehear, when I play back the show and I'm editing and everything, and I'm like, let me forward it. Let me go back. Let me skip on mine. I don't want to hear me.
You got a good voice.
I appreciate it. Everybody says that, like, oh, you got a good voice for radio. Yes, just radio. My face not good for TV.
You never know. Hey, you're doing your thing.
We're doing a horror movie, that'll work. You know what I mean?
You're doing your thing. So he told you got your degree, and then
we did. Yeah, he's like, hey, there's this studio, Fishbowl. They're looking for radio hosts, and he's like, let's do it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. I'll be your engineer. I'll be your director. I'll do all that stuff behind the scenes. And they're like, nah, bro, you got to get on the mic. And I was like, no. And he's like, no, you got to. That's what we went to school for. I was like, so our first day, man, I barely spoke. I barely spoke. Maybe 2 or 3 words, a couple of sentences. And he's like, come on, man, you got to start talking more. And I was like, all right. But, it slowly started growing because the show was called Two Bams and a Babe. BAMs.
So it was 2 guys and a girl.
Yeah. The BAMs stod for big ass men because we were big dudes. We're big dudes, so it's like big ass men,
2 big men
and
a
we
babe.
had a babe. We had a beautiful young lady, Cindy. She went by Lady Luna. So we did it like that, and we did that for 6-7 months, and then like families and life kicked in. Melis couldn't do it anymore. Cindy couldn't do it anymore, and so we were kind of going to go our separate ways. And then when it's like, I think I only did it like maybe 1 week, and I was like, you know what, I can't. And I told, because Sammy
you did stop.
It was like for 1 week, because Sammy was like, look, because y'all already paid. We're gonna keep your show going. We'll play a couple of archives if you get the urge to come back. So it's like, all right, we do. I said, it was like maybe a week. And I was like, man, I missed it. Just that 6 months, I was like, I missed it. And I was like, you know what? I'll come back next week. Because we had already, like I said, we already paid ahead of time and everything. So it's like, all right. I went ahead and did it. And I was like, well, shoot, what do I name the show? And Sammy was like, well, just call it Candyman Show. You're the host. It's you.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I was doing it solo for a while. And at first, we were just doing music and entertainment. Talked about music. We talked about things that were going on in Hollywood and in New York and all that stuff. and then it started opening up. I met Thomas, who's a promoter for XKO. They do MMA.
XKO
yeah,
MMA.
they
Nice.
do MMA, and they're like, hey, and I reached out to them because they were having some fights coming up in Arlington. I said, hey, you want to come to the studio? We can interview you, help promote your fight promotion. He's like, all right. And he goes, hey, can I bring some of my fighters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do it. So, Alex Russ was one of my first MMA fighters that was here. And then Justin Patterson, he was, and it started growing. We started getting more and more fighters in. They all wanted to do it.
That's dope.
So it's like, all right, so we'll do sports and entertainment. You know what I mean? So we went from that, and then they also used to promote PCW, Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
And they were having this big reunion show, and so it was like, hey, we want to come in this. Can we bring some wrestlers in? Bet, let's go. So we brought these wrestlers and stuff, and it started growing. More and more people were listening. More and more, a lot of fighters saw what was going on and like, hey, can I come to your show?
That's dope.
And I was like, cool. You know what I mean? Beforehand, it was hard. It was like whenever they hear the word podcast, like I said, this was, going on 13 years?
It's a long time ago.
Going on 13 years. When you hear podcast and 13 years ago, you're thinking in a garage, in a little room, but Sammy, it was like a studio.
No, because it was down the street.
Yeah,
No, not down the street here, but it was in Arlington.
It was at the Randall Mill. It was over at the Arlington Downs Towers.
Arlington Downs Towers,
Yeah,
yep. And it was a nice building too.
It was a nice building, but her first rooms were they were small. They didn't have no window. They had like this small window. It looked like a classroom.
Okay, so they were in a different floor from where I joined a long time ago because they went to the 5th floor.
Yeah.
And you were in a
It was like
little,
the 3rd or 4th floor, and they were like this
little bitty rooms.
The rooms weren't as big. They didn't have no window. They had a small little slot window where you can just peek through.
So it kind of felt like a garage a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. It kinda, you still had a good, you still had good views. The
Nice.
windows right there.
Nice.
But yeah, it was cool. You know what I mean? But people walked in and like, oh, this is legit. This is a real studio. I'm like,
true.
yeah, this is a real studio. And then of course she went up to the 5th floor, bigger studio, and people were like, bro, this is nice. And we were doing that for a long time, and we got more fighters, wrestlers, and we branched out to musicians, artists, from the graffiti artists to everything, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. What's the most famous MMA that you would say right now? Because you've done not only MMA, but you do boxing, and pro wrestling, right?
Yeah. MMA, it's fun because the one right now, Kevin Holland, right now he's in the talks. He's out there locally. He's from Fort Worth. Good guy, funny guy. He's been wanting to
UFC Kevin Holland?
Yeah.
The one superhero? Bro, he go hard.
Yeah.
I keep up with UFC mostly. Yeah. He go hard.
Yeah.
And he's funny.
Yeah, he is. He's super funny. Yeah. And Kevin Holland, he's right now, and then of course we had Rashad Coulter when he's in there when he first got signed on the UFC. He was cool. Yeah. Then of course Bellator started kind of blowing up, and then that's when we started getting some fighters. Evan the Butcher Cuts, Justin the Tactician Patterson. They were fighting for Bellator, doing their thing. They also started fighting for Legacy, LFA. And we started meeting some of these guys. And
because you even met Overeem, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I did get to meet him. He was actually doing a seminar for. Oh my God, he's gonna kick my ass because I can't remember it. It's right here. I can't remember. It's gonna come back. I'm trying to remember.
Kickboxing.
It was an MMA gym. Over in Plano.
Okay.
And he was doing a seminar, and I got invited to come out and check it out and witness it.
Nice.
And, I got to shake his hand. It was kind of cool meeting him.
He's a
real
big guy.
He's a big dude.
Man, intimidating, scary dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, hey, what's up? And I kept it small, because of course he was teaching and everything.
Yeah.
But he was cool. He was cool as hell too. But yeah, and then from there, the UFC, and then some of the cats, like Keith Lee, got to meet him when he was local professional wrestling. And then I was really happy for him when he got signed on WWE.
Nice.
So he was doing his thing. He was doing NXT. He did a little stint on WWE. Now he's on AEW.
Nice.
He's doing his thing on there. Another young cat, Fuego del Sol, he's doing his thing also.
That's
So,
dope.
it's like it's cool getting to see them and getting to talk to them, and then all of a sudden seeing them do their thing, doing their love.
Yeah.
And then it's like they're living their dream.
Yeah.
I get excited for them.
That's what's up.
It's like, just watching them do that.
That's badass. Is there anyone that stood up more emotionally because you knew the struggle that they went through? Because a lot of them go through some hard stuff before they actually get to the big screen, and you're like, damn, he deserves this.
There's quite a few, but the one that really got me, he's not a fighter. Well, he's not a sports fighter. He's a military. Steven Jackal, and he's a Marine. He's no longer with us either. But hearing his story, where he's overseas in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And they could have done a movie on him. He was out on patrol. They were doing daytime. He was a bomb sweeper. They had to go and check, make sure. And his platoon got hit. They got, there was a rocket hit, and he was in the Jeep. The Jeep got hit. It flipped over, and hearing his story where he crawled out and he lost one leg and the other one was just barely dangling. He crawled out and he sees his platoon, his brothers, and he was pulling them out of the Jeep.
As his legs were jacked up.
Yeah, as his leg, he was crawling, he was getting them out. He suffered, like he lost both his legs. He had like a lot of internal problems. They had, they flew him out. They took him over to Europe. He got treated over there. And yeah, his story, the man, he was a very big motivational speaker.
Yeah.
He was part of 22 Kill, which helps veterans. At the time, 22 veterans were committing suicide, like on a weekly basis, like, you know what I mean? So he wanted to do something to help and to share his story. And man, he had some of the, like I said, he had 2 amputated legs. And he talked about how one, he was told, he told somebody, like, he was at a Longhorn Harley Davidson in Plano or something like that. And someone was like, I bet you can't scale that wall. He goes, bet. And they got him out there. He went down the wall. He talked about how he went snowboarding.
What?
He went
For
snowboarding.
real?
He was riding.
That's crazy.
And he was supposed to go on the amateur slope. Well, he made the wrong turn. And he was heading towards the jump.
Oh, shoot.
And he's just like, he said the first thing that popped, he screamed it out. He goes, I'm committed. And he made the jump. He landed, but then he fell. You know what I mean? But he hit. But like hearing his stories about that and hearing the struggles that he went through, before that he was struggling mentally, like he was suffering through depression and anxiety, all that stuff. He had that PTSD. Yeah. And, it was his family and friends that helped him pull him out of that darkness. He used to drink heavily and stuff like that. And hearing his story, and hearing him talk to you, he made you feel like you could move mountains.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? He would talk to you like he talked to me after the show. I was telling him how I had, because we all suffer from depression and all that stuff. And I was sharing him my story, and he talked to me. He pulled me out. He's like, man, you can do what you need to do. He goes, man, screw all that stuff. You're a good guy. Like he picked me up. That's and just talking to him for that just little while after the show, it's like, man, I can do whatever. You know what I mean? Just like true. So. Steven Jackal, he's like one of the most memorable person out of the 13 years.
That's awesome.
Like that man right there. He was the man.
Yeah, I can relate to him because I'm a veteran too. But I went to Iraq. I was in the Army, and some of those things I say that I had the most blessed deployment that you can possibly have. Like, yeah, I seen some stuff, and I came back and it was a little tough, and I went through some stuff, but I didn't go through near the things that other people went through, and I'm so freaking blessed that even though I did go through some struggle, like I can really empathize with all the veterans that come back that go through stuff like that, and then they can pick themselves up out of the literally out of the bottom, the dark, and then start helping and try to do better. Even not having limbs or whatever the case might be. Again, I came back intact, and I know I have probably some I diagnosed myself a little bit of post-traumatic stress still because I
Right.
was doing irrational things at
Right,
times.
right.
But luckily I was able to get out, and luckily great for him that he was able to even touch you during that time. And that's the other thing about that I like doing this, that we get to talk to some amazing people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's
We
what I
get to talk
really
some
enjoyed.
dope-
A lot of people are like, "Oh man, I bet you get to go to all the coolest places." It's like, honestly, I get invited, but I don't really go. It's like, it's my thing is I'm not there to try to get into things or
Yeah.
meet people. I just want people to hear your story.
Yeah.
What you're about, what got you into what you love to do.
Yeah, I'm the same way as you on that part, because I don't really like the hookup or whatever to get into place. I
Yeah.
don't care for the Instagram things. I like to have their stories, because you're a 13 veteran Latino here in the network. You've been doing it for some time. I think it's awesome to talk to you, to tell everybody how you've been doing this for a long time, and the people that you get to talk to, not to get into place. And if I feel like I want to, like for whatever reason, some event, I want to pay my dues and
Yeah.
get in and enjoy the
Yeah.
event. So I don't want to do media at that time. I
Right,
just want to enjoy
yeah.
the experience, because I had you here and you brought me to this place, or I brought myself to the place so I can support you.
Yeah.
And then I want to see what you got going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
like
cool
that.
because it's like, even like when I have promotions, well, how much are tickets? Let me go ahead and pay. Oh, I'll give you tickets. You don't have to.
Yeah,
I can pay for
yeah.
I can pay for my way in. But they like force it in the hand, but I usually end up giving those.
Yeah,
I'll do like, hey,
yeah.
who wants tickets?
That's true.
Do a giveaway and stuff like
Which
that.
is good. A lot of promotions do that, but it's a little different because it helps your show grow,
Yeah.
to give away some stuff. People love freebie stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's dope. Okay, so now fast forward. So now it's 13 years in, and you're still doing the Candyman show, but
Yeah.
you've been doing local acts too. And then when did you decide to incorporate the local
The
artists?
local artists, honestly, I mean, I've been doing local artists. It's just that a lot of them, they get scared. They don't want to get on. They're like, I can't talk well on the mic, or, like, come on. I'll go out and I'll listen to somebody, or there's a young lady, Jace. She's like, hey, there's an artist here you would love. I can get them his contact. And, I'll get their information. I'll listen to their music. I'm like, bro, I like it. Or, hey, girl, come on, let's do this.
Yeah,
DFW got a lot of amazing
they
talent.
do. We do have a lot of
We
talent.
got
here.
a lot of amazing talent. And when I hear the music, it's like, I'll reach out to them. Like, come here, and like, look, this is legit. Here's the website. Here it is,
yeah.
because a lot of, and everybody has to be a little, leery, of other people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. There's some people that will take your money for an
Exactly.
interview, and I've never
Yes.
done that ever in my life.
bro, I had one person ask me that, like, hey, you want to come to my show? Yeah. How much would it cost? Nothing. It's like, just come in.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Like, yeah, come on in. So yeah, and it's like, I found it weird when they asked me
No,
that.
but they
so-
do. There is people that do that for. To be honest, let's say they do have a little bit of an audience, but still, it's just not genuine to me as far as doing that. Especially when they barely struggling, being independent, try to get there.
Yeah.
And it's just like one of the last things they need to worry about, having somebody that just for an interview
Yeah.
of a place that maybe is not like established or whatever, try to take their money. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, man. That's just,
Exactly. And it's like the same. Like, I celebrated my birthday and I had two performers. Well, I asked a group of performers, but they were all booked. But I asked two other ones, like, hey, how much would you charge me to perform? Like, I won't charge you. It's like, no, this is your livelihood.
yeah.
How much do you want to perform for my birthday?
Yeah.
And they quoted me a price, like, how much is this, mate? All right, you sure? I'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
I asked my other our artist friend, and I was like, hey, how much you charge? Oh, well, I'll give you a discount. You don't have to. You know what I mean? You need to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to, gas for your cars, because they travel all
Oh,
around.
yeah.
They,
Oh, yeah.
Especially now, gas prices being as high as
And
it
if you're a
is.
band and have to set up stuff,
Yes,
that's
they
extra
had
time.
set up stuff, and then like the band's got to get paid.
Yeah.
They're bringing all their instruments and everything. Like,
That's a lot.
So it's like, yeah, like I said, I had like Don Lewis and the Drifting Sages. They performed for my birthday. Super cool crew. L25, she performed for my
Oh
birthday.
yeah, I seen her.
Yeah, awesome. And it's like a mixture, you know what I mean? And I was able to ask, the people at Deuce's bar over in Dallas, and like, hey, what would you charge me for, because I want to bring some bands. They didn't charge me anything, because they want, because it's like, you bring
It's
the crowd.
beneficial for them.
Yeah, because you bring the
It's
crowd. And
beneficial
we had
for
a pretty
the
good, we had
bar.
a good crowd there.
That's dope.
Everybody
That's
was
dope.
drinking, having a good time, listening to some great music. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I like doing. It's like, you know, I'm not trying to take advantage of nobody. Like, hey, how much? Tell me how many. I want to get to you.
I'm with you on that part, except for I have done concerts where I had people ask volunteer their time if it was a nonprofit thing, and I have done it for benefit of have them perform.
Right.
But I do all the promotion for on that part, and it's not instruments, it's more artists. But you're right. Fast forward a few years after that, I'm like, I should have compensated them for their time, you know, regardless of you know, if it was only 5 minutes or not. Still, I should have even mentioned it.
Well, and see, that's, you know, you were doing like a benefit. You were raising money. I said that's different. You know what I mean? Like, this was my own personal party. That's why I wanted to pay them. You know what I mean? Like, if I was doing a fundraiser, you know, and I would state it, hey, I'm doing a fundraiser. I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting no money. I just want to raise money. I did one for 22 Kill. Was it Bushido boards? They did a custom skateboard. It had our logo and everything.
Nice.
And I did a fundraiser to raise money. In fact, Caleb, he's a tattoo artist over at Urban's Tattoos. He designed the board. I told him, hey, man, just create something cool. I told him it was for veterans. I kind of want to have like that military feel for it. And he did like this badass World War II fighter plane. It had like the teeth and it had the propeller. Dope. You know what I mean? Like real cool. It was a board. It was a really cool long board. And I saw it. And I was like, dude, that is badass.
You'll show me the picture later.
Yeah, I'll show you the picture.
Because I want to see it.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was hand painted, everything. And I took it to different places, and I had the raffle tickets. I told them what it was about. I said, look, 100% of this proceeds goes to 22 Kill. I'm not getting shit.
That's badass.
That's theirs. And I mean, and then like if I were to have a fundraiser, he's like, yeah, you know, do you think you can volunteer some of your time? And some of the a lot of the artists are like, bet, just tell me the date.
Yeah.
As long as there is if they're free on that date, they'll come and do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, and I can understand that part right there. It's like, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of tattoos, if I recall correctly, you actually had a show where you had somebody tattoo live on air. Is that not? That was years ago.
That was years ago. That was my first live remote. And it's funny because Kevin Holland was one of my guests.
Really?
Yeah, he was still it's local. He was fighting for XKO, and I had Maricela the voice. She was a performer, amazing local artist. I had her on there, and of course I had the voice of XKO, Antonio Perkins, and Cole. He was he does like all the behind the scenes stuff. You know what I mean? Get everything lined up. So yeah, we were over at Billy Jack Gunther's tattoo studio over in Deep Ellum, Artistic Encounters. I went up there and I introduced myself, and he was like, hey, would you love to come to the studio and for an interview? He goes, no, we're about, you know, this is a new studio. Why don't you come in to ours?
Yeah.
And I'll tattoo you while we do the show. And I'm like,
so it was you that got tattooed. I thought it was somebody else that got tattooed.
It was me. I got the back of my calf. I had gotten a tattoo. And I was like, well, do something small, because it's a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Let's just do. So I picked out a real cool Japanese yin and yang koi fish. So I had that done. And I told my guests, they were all about it. Sean Malone, who is an amazing photographer, he did all the photography. And yeah, I'm over there laying down, and Billy Jack is tattooing the back of my leg, and I'm interviewing my guests, and I'm trying to stay focused while I'm getting tattooed.
Yeah.
And it's like,
how hard was it?
It was. I accidentally ended the show only an hour in, and they're like, hey, because Angelo, he was running the board. It's like, all right, hey, thank you, I appreciate you for watching, and like, we'll be right back. You know, it's like, and then he played a song. He goes, you know, that was only an hour, right? And I was like, what?
Oh my goodness.
I was like, what?
You know what? You're in pain. Like, time slows down.
Exactly. It's like, I'm over here, like, and then it's like, all right, and then like, and we're back. I'm sorry, I thought we were already done, and he was still tattooing and stuff, and it was funny. We did the show. It was great. Maricela performed. She did an acoustic set, talking to Kevin Holland. It was fun having him.
That dude is a trip, bro. I can't believe that you had him early in his things, because right now he had changed weights back and forth now, and now he's with the UFC. He's a very popular UFC fighter.
And it's funny. It's like when you get nicknamed by Dana White as the Big Mouth, and hey, he talks a big game, but what's cool about it is that he backs it up.
Oh, he does.
You know what I
Big
mean? That's
time.
what makes it cool, you know.
Yeah.
But and like right now he's trying to throw down against I'm trying to remember which one of the Diaz brothers.
You talking about must be oh my goodness. There's only two Nick.
Yeah,
Nick or
I'm trying to remember because he wants to fight his last fight. He wants an opponent.
Nah, he's already got it. He's already got a book. He's gonna be fighting Shamaya.
Yeah, so
he's not gonna work.
Yeah, because Kevin's like he goes, I don't care who I want somebody, and you see Kevin Holland put on it comment on his, hey, I'm somebody. Like he was really wanting to fight. I would have loved to have seen that one.
The Diaz brothers are something else, bro. They're a trip. They have some amazing freaking fans and support. As far as the ones that support them, Diaz brothers are a trip.
Well, I mean, their story was really good too. I mean, if you hear about them, you know, like the only reason why they started with jiu-jitsu is so they could eat. Like, you know, they're like, hey, you know, train, we'll feed you. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Yeah, that's true because they have it hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to the interview as you getting tatted by Kevin Holland.
No, I got to interview Kevin Holland while Billy Jack was tattooing me. So yeah. So it was a good time. Got to ask him a lot of cool questions. Like I said, he was just starting off. He was fighting at XKO, and you know he's the same person. Like his personality, which you saw when he was first starting, that's him now. Yeah. Like he hasn't really changed.
I think that's why people love him because he's like you can tell he's like real, like not quote real, but the real person. Yeah. Like just like everybody calls real, I'm real. No, this is him back in the days. Yeah. And him to this day has not changed much. No, he's the same guy.
No, and he's appreciative. I mean, like he remembers the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's, you know, the people who started there since day one. You know, he doesn't turn his back on them. You know, he'll still call them out. You know what I mean? Like have a good time. You know, so it's cool to see him doing his thing and enjoying himself and making a name for himself.
Did you get video for that day when you got tatted, or you didn't?
We got a lot of photos. I didn't do a lot of videos. I did a lot. Oh, well, no. Well, the only video we did was of Maricela's performance.
That's dope.
We got to video her, and it's like you can hear her singing while you hear the buzzing of the tattoo machine on my leg.
That's dope.
But yeah, we got a lot of photos. But yeah, that's the only video we had taken, and I'm sure there was other videos there, like because we wanted the people to come out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, this is where we're gonna be. If you want to be, you know, if you want to be an audience person, you know what I mean, just to check it out, you're more than welcome. So I know there's some video out there of the interview and of me getting the tattoo and stuff like that. But if y'all have it, if you don't mind sharing it, I appreciate it.
So the only thing that I, like for me, as far as doing it, is like that I didn't, unfortunately, have the budget then to have a bunch of videos on YouTube from years ago.
I know, man. That's what sucks. That's the same thing. I feel the same way. Like, man, I wish because
those are dope moments.
It was cool, you know, but it was just starting out, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I had a hand with getting the videos in Fishbowl because of course Facebook Live started kicking in, and and YouTube, you know, was really making it blowing up, and I started like, hey Sammy, you know, you ever think about getting video, putting cameras in? And she's like,
Carlos might want to take that credit for him that he was nagging her the whole time.
He's like, I don't know, I was thinking about it, but I bought my own camera, you know, the little PC camera, and I hooked it up. You know, it sounded like trash. I'm not gonna lie because we couldn't sync it in with the board.
The board
at the time, so we had two different mics.
Yeah.
So it was like it didn't sound too. It sounded okay, but because we were using the studio mic and we had the other mic, we used the camera mic. Like I said, it is just starting out, so I wasn't 100% familiar.
Yeah.
So I just started doing that. And I met a young lady. God, I can't believe I missed her name. She was the one that helped me set it up. She helped me out with OBS. She helped me out with all this stuff to where we did a couple of test runs and stuff like that.
And it worked.
And it was working. You know what I mean? We did it we started doing it, and we would put it on Facebook. We would be Facebook Live, and we would share it. And I'm sure. I cringe. I don't want to look back, but it's still on there. It's on our show page. If you go scroll to the videos, you can find our very first ones, and you could hear a lot.
Hey, it's all good.
It
It's
sounds
part of
kind of muffled.
It's part of the trial and trial and error. Try to get it right.
And then next thing you know, hey, we got cameras here. And I'm like, bet I don't have to bring mine in. It'll sound more professional.
Yeah, our first show we did, bro, you wouldn't even recognize the way that it looks now. Like the video ones that we started doing with the podcast, it doesn't look anything like right now.
Mm-hmm. It's like, because like I said, it's like when it first came out, the first cameras were like 720, and like now you got 1080, 4K.
Well, we shooting 4K, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like now I'm just shooting 1080, which is still good,
No, you put us. It's still really good looking.
It's still good, but like when you look at the old ones and you see the 720, the little pixels and stuff that,
so bad.
Little granuated. It's like, okay.
So look, I don't know if the camera captured this, Carlos, but I have the old school shirt of his because he actually has shirts and merchandise. He has shirts and merchandise, but I want to know how did the panda came to be? How did the logo become to be part of the Candyman show?
I talk about it all the time. I've always been a fan of the way of the Bushidos, the way of the samurai. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There was something about the old school Asian, like the samurai culture. I felt like I could relate because it was always about family bond and blood. You know what I mean? Like, you're loyal to your emperor or whatever, but it was also about loyalty and brotherhood type of thing.
Family values.
Yeah, and they were big on that. And I've always said, like, if you look at the samurai, that whole culture, it's very similar to like here in the States, the Native Americans. You know what I mean? But like, it was all about family unity. We had
values and things like that.
Yeah, we all protected each other. You know what I mean? Like the tribes, the different tribes and stuff like that. So and then I don't know. I've always been fascinated with the panda. I thought the panda was pretty cool, and it came out way before the stupid Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
We came out 2 years before Kung Fu Panda. That shirt came out 2 years. And like I said, I was always a fan of combat sports, mixed martial arts, big Bruce Lee fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
be like water.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like Muay Thai, I was liking all that. So I was like, I want to do a panda, but I want him having like, the raps. You know what I mean? Like he's going to fight like Muay Thai, like a Muay Thai fighter. You know what I mean? And then
Can't
of
really
course
see it on the shirt, but it's here.
And of course the yin and yang. I was.
But the koi fish look like koi fish. Is that type of fish, right?
It's the koi fish. Yeah, it's the yin and yang. You know what I mean? It's also part of that. So yeah, I went there, and of course I put the Candyman show. I had two amazing artists. Pedro did that one. Priest, he did that one, and I had another gentleman. He did another one where he's got the boxing gloves and he's got his hands wrapped. He's got the boxing shorts and everything. And a buddy of mine was like, hey, man, you got to have him say something. So we came up with what was it? Let's Fight Cupcake or something like that.
Let's Fight Cupcake? Yeah. That's cool.
So
Let's Fight Cupcake.
So we were, we put out Pierce Designs, and I was looking for. That's actually my second. Now that I talk about that was actually my second one. The very first one, it was like this three. Well, because it was music. We were doing music. Yeah. So I had like this sound waves, and it was in the form of a person, and it had the headphones, and you see like it was real cool looking. But then when I went to sports and everything, I wanted to do that one. I wanted to change it up.
And now you have a new logo.
I have a new logo, man. Trey Wilde, he designed he gifted me 1 year for my birthday, and I was like, bro, I need to give you some money. He's like, no, this is a gift. You don't disrespect me. And I was like, no, I don't. I was like, I'm not trying to disrespect you. Trey Wilde is an amazing graffiti artist. He's blowing up. You can see his work all around DFW.
Nice.
He did this real badass samurai panda chilling, and I was like, man, I really like it. And I got with Pierce Designs. I was like, yo, bro, you think you can digitize this? I would love to put it on a shirt. And he digitized it, and I of course, I wanted to keep Trey's signature, because I wanted to show, the proper respect. Like, this is the designer. He's the one that created this amazing artwork.
That's badass.
So it's like, and I told Jason, I said, look, bro, whatever you do, I need that signature on there. So it's like all the new shirts, anything you see, you'll see the little signature right there, like right there by his foot.
Nice.
But yeah, Trey Wilde, man, he's an amazing artist. He killed it. He did.
Yeah, and this one has a hat.
Yeah, he's got the bamboo hat on. The one beforehand, like I said, this is the third one. The one beforehand, he had his bamboo hat to sitting to the side. You know what I mean? But Yeah, it's just there's something about the pandas. It was really cool.
Yeah, they're all super dope. Again, I've been having this shirt for probably 10 years. One of my favorites. So worn out.
Oh man,
But I love it. It's time to re-up with the new ones.
Yeah.
Where can they find your
Oh
shirts?
man, they can hit me up on Instagram. They can hit me up on Facebook. Just hit me up on the show page and say, hey, you want to get the shirt? I'll put it out there. See what you can show the designs. I'm actually going to be out to at the Epic in Grand Prairie. I don't know why they asked me, but Carlos Moreno, they're doing a big IKF.
Is that Carlos Moreno?
No,
I was kidding.
he's doing a big IKF Muay Thai tournament.
Nice.
Over at the Epic in Grand Prairie, and he's like, "Hey, dude, you want to be our guest judge?" And I was like, "What?" Yeah.
You know, the judges don't really know much about fighting. You know, I think you know more about fighting than some of the judges that will be judged.
And I feel bad. I get nervous because a buddy of mine, I told a buddy of mine, "Hey, man, don't screw up the count, man. Don't piss off the fighters." I'm like, man, I'm gonna be like looking at the other judge. Hey, man, what'd you get?
What'd you get?
I'm gonna put what you got. What you got? I'm gonna get the same.
That's funny.
I might go off by 2. You say 75-23. All right, I'm gonna do 76-28. You know what I mean?
But you know, the reality is like that's what it is within judges, even in the UFC. Even though it might be a little bit higher level, like I'm not saying that you don't know, right? You probably study and everything, but a lot of the problem with the judges is that they do bring people that like kind of sort of never fought or professionally or things like that, and it becomes a problem. You know what I mean? So I get it that you're gonna do the best possible, but
Yeah.
I think the other people will be in the same boat.
It is very difficult for the simple reason.
There's no judges schools, is there?
Huh?
There's no judging schools, is there, for MMA or sports?
Actually, no. But you do. There is the TDLR. You know what I mean. You have to apply in there. You have to have some kind of knowledge in combat sport. I hate because right now they're calling a buddy of mine. He was one of the judges at the UFC fight. His name is Seth Fuller, and it went I'm trying to remember the fight. It was the mayor fight, you know, and they went to split decision, and everybody was like, it should have been unanimous. It should have been, but he had given the third round to the opponent, and like everybody was dogging on him. Man. Everybody on social media, even ESPN called him out by name. Like, who is this? And he's jiu-jitsu. He does Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He knows about MMA. He knows he's done the sports. You know what I mean? So he knows it. And I'm like, dang, I can't believe they're calling him out like that.
See, but the thing is that the other thing I get from the judges too, empathy, because it will be so freaking hard to be a ref and to be a judge. Yeah. Because you're just going based off your perspective. You know how reliable sometimes our eyes can be. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
And it is. Don Turnage, he's a referee and he's done some of the UFC fights. And yeah, he'll tell you straight out, it's like you're the bad guy regardless. Because it's like either you're stopping the fight too soon or you stop the fight too soon. There's no
like Derek Lewis just happened to him. A lot of people the last UFC event they felt like the fight was too fast. He stopped it, but when you fall on your face, kind of go flat, then it's kind of difficult for the ref not to say it's over.
It's also like you're not there. You don't see the glassy look in their eyes. Like they're out. You know what I mean? It's like you know, if he's got maybe he's got his hands up, but he's not. Like I said, you're looking at his face.
He's in La La Land.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not even looking at the fighter.
Yeah,
he's just like natural for him.
He's trying to keep, trying to get hit. It's like, but and I can understand too. It's like sometimes it's like you see he's on the verge of getting. Oh, you stopped it too soon. But there's no perfect. You know what I mean? Like nobody's perfect.
But it does leave the room for all this talk afterward, so you can just keep relevant of whatever happened, even weeks later people talk about that. We're talking about the Lewis fight, how I saw the knockout. I thought he was out.
Yeah.
But he came to maybe when he hit the floor. But when you see the ref and you literally flat, I'm like, I can see how he go both ways, you know? Whether Dana White said it was an early stop, and like, bro, he went flat. What do you want to do? And you're not there in the cage.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden, like, I mean, you see somebody just get out cold and he's getting pummeled and like, the referee's not jumping in on time. Then you're getting dogged out.
Because you're supposed to protect the fighter too,
he's there
right?
to protect. Yeah, but it's like I said, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, what,
Yeah. All right. So you DJ, like you used to DJ, still picked it up a little bit, but you actually DJ with the vinyls before.
Yeah.
Way back.
Back in the day, yeah.
Tell me about that. When did you begin to want to start DJing?
It's crazy. Honestly, I started it to... One is to help my one of my cousins. They were having a quinceañera. They couldn't afford a DJ. So I was like, I had just started, you know what I mean? And I didn't even have like the good turntables. I had like the beginner turntables. You know what I mean? No disrespect, like the old, like the first Vestax. You know what I mean? They weren't the Techniques. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted the Techniques. You know what I mean? You know, Vestax. Oh man, you're getting the no name brand, like, you know. But you know, of course, Vestax kind of grew for a little bit. But yeah, I got that, and they're like, well, do you think you can DJ for us? I'm like, I mean, I was just doing it at home just for the hell of it, you know? Yeah. So I was like,
why did you want to try to buy those things?
Why? I like music. I've always loved music. I grew up listening to music. Like my dad was he was very into everything. Like, you know, back in the day when we were younger, you know, my mom and dad would go out, you know, with their friends and stuff like that. Go to like the Hi-Ho Ballroom or
remember?
You know, or go, you know, back in when it was real popping.
Yeah.
And he'd be in the room getting ready, but you would hear him playing music. He'd be playing like either Motown or he'd be playing, you know, like some rancheras. You know, like he mixed it up. He liked all styles of music. Yeah. That, you know, because he found his love for music, you know, because he was in the military.
Oh, nice.
You know, he was in the Army. He was in Vietnam, and you know, he always told, you know, he got to go back in the day when he was in boot. He, you know, his friends, you know, he had a lot of black friends, and they would take him to those hole in the wall little juke joints.
Yeah.
So he would go. He would be like the only Mexican there, you know, and he'd be partying. And he told me a story where like he was, you know, he was partying with his friends, and there was a house band playing, and they're like, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got James Brown in the house. He's right here." And he got to see, and they pulled him in. Let's see if we can't get him out. Yeah. Then he said he had the rag, you know, he had it, you know how he had it right there tied up in the front. He had his hair did, and let's see if we can pull him out there. So he's like, he got to see him, you know, perform, you know.
Badass.
But yeah, he loved Motown. He loved, you know, of course, you know, the Mexican music. He loved everything.
Yeah.
And it kind of transferred to me, and I like music. So you know, I was like, oh, you know, I get some vinyl records. I used to go looking for records. I used to go to Sound Warehouse when they used to have vinyl top 10 records, you know, back in the day. You know, like I said, I'm aging myself. I'm
so
old.
you did vinyl, not the stuff that you do now with this Serato, with a controller, with the freaking a memory, and you have a bunch of music.
And no disrespect to the digital era. I mean, it's a lot easier.
I think the DJs, the early DJs, they're always trying to find things to make it easier and make easier to DJ and mix. They would appreciate the fact that you're not carrying this huge crate, and now you have this little memory that you carry thousands and thousands of songs.
We used to have crates and crates of records.
Yeah.
And it always depended on what kind of party you were doing.
Yeah.
Because you would have to pull out, oh man, we got to dig out the crate, see what we're gonna rock out to.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Because if you want to bring everything, you're gonna have to bring chingos of crates like that, you know. But it's like, you know, what kind of party you're doing? Oh, I'm doing Latin party. All right, I'm gonna get some Mexican music. I'm gonna get some Latin freestyle. I'm gonna get some, you know what I mean? Just try to something, you know, how long the song, you know. But you always want to bring those extra, like your favorites. You know what I mean? The real big hits right there.
Yeah.
And have a good time. But yeah, you know, you get the crates out, you put it on there. I used to hire my cousins to be my roadie. Because I got tired of carrying them.
Bro, I will be tired. I'm getting tired of hearing you carrying the crates, bro.
I got tired of carrying them. I'm like, hey, I'll get my cousins, you know, like, hey, man, I'll give you $20. All you got to do is load. And like, do we get to come to the party? Like, you can come, but don't act a fool.
Yeah.
You know, you don't act up. Or you go home. So, yeah, they would load up and they would unload and for me, and I'd be right there, like, you know. And I used to have the big heavy coffins. You know what I mean? They're not like now. Like the deck I have now, it's in a little travel case. Put it on your shoulder and just walk in.
With a backpack.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, you had that big old freaking huge thing. It does look like a freaking coffin.
Yeah, it is. That's all it is. It's a big old coffin. You lift it up. You see the turntables, the mixer and everything. You're hooking everything up and you're going at it. And
it is apprecied that you get to carry all this stuff in a smaller compact with a whole lot of music.
Yeah,
do the job.
It is. We did you know, and I slowly went, you know, I went from turntables and then, of course, the CDJs came out.
DJs.
You know, so I wanted to get some CDs, CD players. I did the new marks, and I started carrying books. Now I still have a big like selection of vinyl, but then I got maybe 8 books of CDs. I still got 8
they're gonna
books
make a comeback, bro.
I hope so.
They are.
I mean, I hope so.
Even tapes now and vinyl's still a thing. Vinyls are still a thing, big time.
It's crazy because everybody's doing that whole retro thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and now bro, a lot of the vinyl records are going for crazy money. Not only the records, the CDs, not only those, the cassettes, the reel to reels. Like, man, you can get crazy money for those too. Hell, even the old arcade games.
Yeah, that too. They're going for big money.
You know, like people, you get a pristine, old school Atari game, you can make crazy money.
The Atari ones are super expensive. Even the Super Mario,
the Colecos, all
the
that,
Nintendos, Super Nintendo, and all that. They're pricey nowadays. Yeah. I've seen crazy prices. People looking for them.
And it's funny. It's like I don't feel like I'm a hoarder now. At first, I feel like I'm a hoarder, but now I'm a collector because I still have my Super Nintendo.
What?
I still have my Nintendo. I got the old PlayStation, and then I got the cartridges of the games and stuff like that. So yeah, I still carry a lot of that stuff.
Hey, one day for whatever reason you need some extra cash, bro, you got a lot of money.
Right, I know, right? I mean, it's an investment now.
It is an investment now. Okay, so what was the most memorable event? I mean, a gig that you had, whether was it a wedding or a quinceañera that stood out the most? That dang, whether it was something that happened in the event or was maybe a mistake that happened.
No, honestly, I used to do my brother John. He it was the college parties. I used to do a lot of college parties. Back in the day, he was part of LULAC.
The Latino Uniteds for that one.
I know
what you're talking about.
I
can't remember
he was a committeeman for LULAC, and so he would always they would always ask for when they had fundraisers or they want to do parties for Latin night and stuff like that. And he would ask me if I could DJ. I used to love doing those things. You know what I mean? I had a good time playing for them, and they'd be getting all crazy and having a good time. So a lot of the college parties, those were all the memorable ones for me.
Awesome. And is the League of United Latinos, Latin American Citizens? Yeah. That's what LULAC is. I just want to get it right so y'all don't come at me. All right, what you were saying?
Yeah. So yeah, he they would do fundraisers. They would raise money for scholarship funds and stuff like that for Latinos.
Very active,
I mean?
yes.
So he would ask me, hey man, our budgets ain't that big, so would you, I'm like, bro, I'm dead, just whatever, give me gas money. I don't care. What I mean? If you have food, hook me up with some food. I'm a big dude. Feed me. Hey, you got me. I'm there. But yeah, all the college parties, man, I used to love doing the college parties.
I bet.
Those were the most fun I ever had, doing the college parties and seeing everybody having a good time. The most memorable is when they made the big trash can punch. I used to see him. That's the first time I ever seen trash can punch. They would get the big old giant, Rubbermaid trash can, and you see him putting 3 bottles of Everclear, vodka, Hawaiian Punch, all this stuff.
Dang, Everclear too.
Yeah. But when they mix it, and it's when you taste it, you could taste a little bit of the alcohol, but it was because of the Hawaiian Punch and the orange juice and all this other stuff. They put the mixed fruit, the pineapple chunks and the juice and everything in there, and you see them with the big old paddle for rowing.
Yeah, rowing.
And they be stirring it up like that.
Right.
And they would have that much airspace from the trash can. It was one of those big old trash cans, and they'd be right there pouring. They had a little pitcher and they were pouring drinks, and everybody was they were getting pretty lit. They were getting lit.
They were getting lit.
Yeah, it was fun.
What club did you get to DJ at? Because you used to do clubs as well,
Man,
right?
there was. It's not there no more. I used to do the clubs in Deep Ellum. What was it called? Oh my God! It didn't even last that long.
Too fire, bro. Yeah, you got too lit.
I'm trying to remember. It was a pizza joint, but they had this big opening in the back, this big room, and they wanted to do a club thing. So the front part was the pizza, and then they can go in the back, and that's where they had the club part area. So we did that. It was just down the street from Lasers. Like I said, I'm aging myself. Lasers right there off of Elm, in Deep Ellum, and It was fun too. It was cool. This was at the highlight of the music scene. Like a lot of local bands and stuff like were blowing up.
Yeah.
In Deep Ellum, it was like Music Central. You know what I mean? Like everything. Like this is, like I said, this was back in the early to mid '90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was a good time having that stuff like that, doing stuff like that. I did that for, you know, on the weekends I would do that like a part-time thing. You know, I'd do it on Saturday night, or I got my another buddy of mine in on it, and so he would do Friday night, and we kind of alternate and have a good time doing that.
Yeah.
So, it was a good time.
It's a fun time. You get in the mic too and be rocking it? Or mostly just
my thing is when I DJ, I like to entertain. Melly Mel, he was my MC. He would get on there, hype everybody up.
Yeah.
My thing is like, and like every other DJ's goal is like, man, I want to see everybody standing up, getting up, dancing.
Yeah.
My goal was like, man, I want these women walking out with holding onto their shoes because they were dancing
They were
all
dancing all
night.
night.
Yeah, that was my goal. It's like,
You know what I love? Whenever I see a DJs or everything, for everybody to be singing. I love to see that
Sing-alongs
part.
and
When you
stuff,
even
yeah.
can cut it a little bit, you can just hear them sing the song. It's just, that thing is beautiful to me. It's like, wow, that's dope.
Yeah, and it's like when you know, like, and I always like these new cats, you know, like, oh, I want to learn how to DJ. What can you tell me? It's like, man, you play the music that the women want to hear.
Yep.
Because if the women going to be on the dance floor, the guys are going to be coming following them.
They ain't got to worry about them fighting, nothing else. They just worrying about them.
If you make the women happy, the guys are happy too, because they want to see, they want to be out there dancing with them. Like, hopefully get their number before the end of the night.
That's a great rule for you to have a great night, to make sure you never had issues if you get all the girls dancing. That is so true.
Yep.
Okay, so tell me about EDM music. Why you love this so much? I know you liked it a lot, quite a bit.
Honestly,
even though now it's everywhere.
DJ D was the one that got me into EDM. He was one of my first DJs out here, and you know he started playing. I'm like, I've never heard this music, man. What is this? Like, you know, it's bumping, man. I like this. And he'd have these remix, or he'll do this remix on them, and I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I like doing mashups and stuff, but I've never thought about doing EDM mashups. You know what I mean? Like putting like hip hop phrases to go with the EDM beats, but it fit.
It fits.
You know what I mean? And he did like some Latino stuff, like Latin music. He played like I say, when you hear like the Vicente Fernandez, you know what I mean? When you hear Volver, and all of a sudden you hear like that, you're like, what the hell? Like what?
Like what's going on? Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it drew me, and because I like a mixture of music, it blended in. So it's like, I like that. You know what I mean? So I started going in with the EDM. I really like that. I added it to my thing. I love, like I said, I love all kinds of music.
Yeah.
The only one I kind of like is that death metal.
It grew on me, actually.
Did it really?
Because I actually had a artist that I interviewed a few times, and she's part of a local band, and I went to see her perform, and be surprised. I was just jamming to it live there, and bro, they all dope. Even the newer comers, bro, they be jamming. Yeah. And I'm not saying I played it all the time, but now I'll be like, if something's playing, I would just nod my head, bro.
I would never really like, as soon as I started, I'm like, nah, I don't want to hear it. It was my brother's daughter. She's like, hey, he called me. He goes, hey, Serena wants to talk to you. I'm like, oh, man, shit, what's going on?
What's she get in trouble for it?
And I was like, she comes and I was like, hey, what's going on, Mika? What's up? And she's like, well, hey, I got tickets to this concert, and my dad he said I can't go unless I have an adult. My boyfriend's brother's going. He's 23 and everything. He's an adult, but he doesn't want to do that. Goes, will you come with me?
Oh,
and
man,
she gives me these eyes. And I'm looking at my brother. I'm like, you son of
I can't say no.
And I go, and it was, the name of the band was the Death Murder Dahlia. I hope I'm saying it right. I hope I'm saying it right. Oh, Black Murder Dahlia. Oh, thank you. Black Murder
Dahlia.
Black Murder Dahlia.
The name's crazy.
And they were the headliners. Well, I thought it was like a regular concert, 2 or 3 opening acts. No, it was a festival, man. They had like 6 bands.
Jesus Christ.
So, and I'm like, what did I get myself into? And it was like 6 hours of just, like hard. And you see these kids, and they're like kids her age, because she was only 16 at the time. So there were a lot of kids her age, and it was an all-age event.
Yeah.
And see these kids just jumping around and everything, and then here comes the main event, the main band, and I see these two guys like right there in front. I had her right here next to me, and her boyfriend was there, and they were looking at each other and like, oh hell, what the hell's going to happen? As soon as the band played, man, they started pushing everybody, and everybody started moshing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I tried to grab her, and she got shoved all the way to the aisle. My big ass got stuck right smack dab in the middle. I'm like, and I had this barricade right behind me, so I'm like, I'm stuck. I can't go nowhere. So I'm like pushing, like, get off me. I see this kid crowd surfing. Like I had my back, like my head turned, and as soon as I turned, this dude headbutted me because he was crowd surfing. I'm like, oh, cabrón, you know. But they were going at it. They were just moshing around. I'm just like, God bless it. And I'm holding, like, just like, all right, back up, just pushing them away.
Yeah,
like I'm not trying to get in on all this.
I'm not in it. Leave me alone.
But it's it opened up, it reopened up my eyes, because you see these kids and they're dancing, or moshing, and they're going at it, and you see one kid fall, and they kind of stop. They grab him, they pull him up, and after every song, they're high-fiving, yeah, screaming and hollering. And then at the end of the night, you see these kids, and it's like, they're so, like, they did a heavy workout. Beforehand, they were kind of, like, pent up. They have all this aggression. They're like, they're kids. And I've always said it, and I tell this to everybody, like, when I see them, they're so, they feel like a heavy weight was lifted off of them. Yeah. They got to cut loose. And it brought back memories from back in the day, like when we used to listen to like NWA and all this Ice Cube, like
jumping.
We started getting hard and hard. You know what I mean? We're like, we go to a concert, we're like, we're like, but it was a release. Yeah. And I've always said, like, now it's like kids nowadays, man, there's so much going on. There's more now happening with peer pressure and trying to fit in now than there was back in our day.
Yeah, because there's a whole lot more social media pictures, and you have to look like this, you have to have that, and blah, blah, blah.
And social media is a big part of it, So it's like, man, it's hard for a lot of kids to fit in now. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like they can't identify it. But now you go to a concert like this, when you're around your peers, you see them and they're happy, and they're like, oh, man.
I liked that. I took a friend to one of them. Nothing of her vibe at all whatsoever, and she enjoyed it. Yeah. And all the bands, even the openers, there was like 4 or 5. They're all really good.
For real.
So I go down to Ana Sano. She go hard, and then her brand and everybody. I was just there chilling, listening to them. I was like, oh shoot, I can get used to it. Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna take you to the dark side. Like, I don't know.
I don't know about all that.
I don't know about all that.
I'll get entertained and watch.
But I be jamming, y'all. Yeah. Here, if it plays, like, again, if somebody puts it on, I'm like, it sounds good. Yeah. Even the growling, it's a little strange to me, but overall, just the general vibe of death metal is like, it's pretty good.
And it's like music is branched out, and that's what I like. Like, you see a lot of the K-pop. Yeah. And like Japanese hip hop. I don't know if you heard like Bad Hop. He throws down. And I found him through anime, because it was like, I was like, man, what's this beat? Like, you hear this rapping, and it goes hard. And I looked it up.
I don't know what he's saying, but he go
hard.
I don't know
what he had, but he go hard. I'll look it up, like his the lyrics. Yeah. And they got the English versions, and of course it's no different than Mexican music. It's like it doesn't really go good. Like when you try to translate it. You know what I mean?
Well, the crazy thing is, the Bad Bunny's freaking global.
Yeah.
And he's rapping in Spanish. Yeah. But every freaking body can enjoy that.
Yeah, it's just like right now, that big band BTS. Like, I have a good friend of mine, her daughter's hardcore BTS fan.
Yeah, they're huge. They're a big deal.
Monster, yeah. I mean, it's like, you don't understand a word, but their it sounds good. It sounds really badass. It's like their vocals, it goes hard. And they're like, the way they're dancing, the beats and everything, it goes hard.
Yeah, I haven't got to listen. I know of BTS, but I haven't checked out their music. But I need to see what's going on.
You check it out, you'll be like, hey, man, I don't know what you're saying, but dang, I like it.
Yeah. What things you have coming up? So we're going to probably release the episode in a couple of weeks. So what you got going on here the next week or in the near future?
Well, shoot, a couple weeks. Like I said, tomorrow the IKF Muay Thai tournament is going down.
I hope you do great in the judging, bro. Don't be
I'm
nervous. I don't know you're gonna do the best
Hey,
possible job.
here's the hard part, man. MMA and Muay Thai is so different because, of course, Muay Thai, you got elbows, you got knees, and you got to try to. How many times they threw a knee? I was like, you got to like stay focused.
I'm sure when you in flow state and you're focused, you'll be able to see it, bro. So I always thought the judges should be in a not listening to the crowd in these containers, soundproof. Yeah. So all they can see is the fights, whether elevator or nothing, so they can't be influenced by the people around. Right. Because a lot of times they do something fancy, even if it's a miss, the people go crazy, and it kind of sort of we're still human and we get influenced by certain things, and I feel like that kind of helps, like to like maybe confuse the judges as far as what's going on. I feel like they should be in this little cage where they can't soundproof, where all they see is the action and they can't be bothered. Right. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, you know what I mean? And like I said, it's hard to try to maintain because, you're set. You see the way the judges are. Yeah. They're like right there, but you can't, like maybe their back is turned. You can't see them throwing like, quick jabs, like, when they got them on the ground. Like you can't, how am I going to count that, I hope one day they already incorporate some AI into where they can actually, with 360 cameras. So they can really incorporate that. They already do it in soccer here, where you can get replay, where you can see if something did happen or not. Well, kind of like that with the 360, where there's an AI calculating what it is. Right. See that's kind of cool, but you also take a chance too, because like you can manipulate the AI, the programming. It's all about the programming. Well, you know what I mean? True, but already you can still manipulate the real thing. You can too, because it's like, and every fighter tells you the same thing, man. It's like they don't want it to go to decision. Yeah, they don't want it. They don't want it. But sometimes it's hard when you meet your match. You can't knock them out or tap them out. You know what I mean? They want to do one of the two. They get scared. Oh yeah, they get nervous. It's like, man, did they give it to me? Did they? They feel like, and it goes for both fighters. Yeah. Like I feel like it did really good. The other guy's gonna feel like he did really good. They're not going to say, "Oh man, I lost." Some do. Some know that they're real honest with themselves. They'll be like, "Damn, I fucking blew this." Yeah. But you do have not, I don't want to say a vast majority, but it's it does tilt up like, nah, I should have won that fight. Yeah, because they feel it if they got hit or not. Let's say the guy barely touched him, maybe the judge counted, but then was like, that was like barely a tap. Right. As long as you're making contact, and that's what I was saying. When you're on the ground, when you're doing ground and pound, like if they're hitting. They're probably gassed out. They're even though there's no power, it's still a point. It's still a point. Kicks is still a point. Calf kicks, all that. Man, yeah. I wouldn't want to be a judge or a ref in MMA. I don't know. And when you give them a hard time, but still, I wouldn't want to. Yeah, see, that's why I say that when he asked me to come out and do this, and I'm like, man, are you sure you want me to? Like, man, it's okay. But it's an amateur tournament. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm going to try not to mess up, but there's going to be like, oh man, I should have. You're a person. You're not perfect, but I know that you're gonna do the best possible job. So you got that going on. What else you got going on? Is it 2 weeks from now? The Tattoo Collectors Expo over at the Esports Stadium. They got something coming up. They got tattoo artists from all around the U.S. gonna be here. So you're gonna be the media for that? Or yeah, I'm gonna be the media for that. I'll be covering that. October 22nd, I'm actually gonna be covering Katrina Fest. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. You just had somebody. Yeah, Anel. Anel, she's a phenomenal artist, makeup artist. She does really great work with the Catrinas and stuff. Yeah, let her know if she would ever like to do ours. Yeah. Before the event. Yeah. Most definitely. Because I told her I was going to try to help promote as much as I can. Yeah. So I would definitely share with her and get her out here. We'll get together. Let me know because we can do something quickly before the event, so give enough time to get it out. They got that one. I'll be double booked for that one because nice. They got Katrina Fest, and then of course Cowtown Comic Con is happening. That one's going to be at the Fort Worth at the Will Rogers. So you do Comic Con too, and anime and all that. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm a bit. For those of y'all don't know, like I'm an old ass man. Like I'm 52. I just celebrated 52. No way. Yeah, I just celebrated. But you 52. Collect magazines too? I'm a big comic. Like comics, I'm a big comic geek. Nice. I'm a game. I love the game. Because people say, "Man, you don't look your age." I don't act my age. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's like I game. I collect comic books. The biggest thing
I feel like MMA fighters are big, and wrestlers are big comic and anime geeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The style bender.
Yeah.
Israel.
Yeah.
He loves that stuff.
Yeah. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Oh God, we were just talking about him. He's a big. Well, hell, like when Ronda Rousey, she's a big Dragon Ball Z fan.
Yeah.
She loved Vegeta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's all about Vegeta. You know what I mean? And
Brandon Moreno likes some of the comics too, Legos too, but some of the superhero Legos. So it's dope.
Like I said, not Justin, Evan Cutts. He was LFA. He was welterweight title. He had the title for a bit. He was also did bare knuckle fighting.
Nice.
He's a big Dungeons and Dragons fan.
What?
Yeah.
I never understood that thing, but I heard of it, but I could never get into it.
He's hardcore into it. A lot of his fighters that fight for like LFA and stuff like that, Levi Miles and Evan's brother, they like playing Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
They'll be playing those Magic
I
the
heard
Gathering
about
cards.
it,
Yeah, they'll be playing those cards. Yeah, they're like Pokemon.
You got Pokemons too,
yeah.
and all that.
It's like that. You know what I mean? They play that. They like after every gym session, they're right there huddled up playing
That's
Magic
crazy.
the Gathering.
Could never understand those things, but I kind of sort of get it. But he's pretty cool. They teach their own.
I'm trying to work on something like that. Hopefully, have something like that.
Like
soon.
a game.
Yeah, have a game night where I can get like MMA fighters, pro wrestlers, and maybe like music artists. Like I've already had like L25. She wants to be in a part of it. She's like, I've never played it, but I'm kind of curious. And so I have a Nigel Rabbit. He's part. He has the Rabbit Empire. His wrestling guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a big D&D person. So
That's
he's
dope.
going to try to create a campaign, and we're going to try to do a show where everybody. But I want to have some fun with it. I'm going to have everybody dress up as their character. Like if you're going to be the elf, if you're going to be the sorcerer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to dress up the part.
Can we just watch if we don't want to do it?
No, yeah, because we're gonna have.
Let me know.
Stream it.
So I want to do it. I want to go see.
Yeah. We're gonna stream it. We're gonna have people come out,
Mhm.
and what we're gonna have fun about it because like, I think it's making a comeback. D&D is making a comeback because of the show Stranger Things.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because it's everybody's doing the D&D.
What is the D&D again?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Duh.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Never
yeah.
mind. I'm not into that stuff, but I get it. But you got to break it down to the whole work.
Yeah.
They're like, what?
But
okay. We just said it.
I'm a big, like I said, anime, comic geek. Like I said, Cowtown Comic Con is happening. We'll have the promoters coming in and talking to them, kind of help promote them. With them, I got to meet, Peter Taylor. He was he did the last, it was the last, he played Pinhead.
Oh, shoot, for real?
Yeah.
That's dope.
And so I got to meet him. He was there, and I was like, man, I'd love to have you on. He moved to Fort Worth.
Serious?
So we're
There's a lot of people that are moving to the Dallas-Fort Worth, Austin area.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of celebrities.
Yeah, they're coming in.
They live in Cali.
And I asked him,
yeah.
hey, you want to come out here? And I would love to have you on the show. He goes, yeah. So I'm trying to set that up to have him come out.
That's dope.
But I'm a big anime geek. So Cowtown Comic Con is happening. XKO is happening again. Theirs is going to be in September. So we're going to help promote them and have some of the fighters come into town. VIP Wrestling has got an event.
Nice.
This coming Tuesday night, I got DFW All Pro Wrestling. I got the Camachos, the Familia Camachos, Puertorriqueños, you know what I mean? They're a big old family. They got a big event coming up, so I'm going to have all them come into the studio.
That's dope.
And talk to them about it. They have their newest member, which is one of the sisters.
What?
She just graduated from the DFW All Pro Wrestling Academy.
They got academies for wrestling, now, right? A bunch.
Yeah, DFW All Pro Wrestling
crazy.
Academy over in Haltom City. MPX has an academy over here in Bedford, not that far from here.
Yeah, probably down the corner.
MPX Wrestling has a wrestling academy, and I mean it's growing in Texas. Texas is, I like that the independent wrestling scene is making a comeback.
Yeah,
it's making a huge comeback.
Nice. Why do you think that is?
Honestly, they're getting tired of WWE. Don't get me wrong, I still watch the hell out of it, but it's like the same.
They can already kind of sort of guess what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of like the same storyline. You know what I mean? It's being repetitive. AEW is blowing up big time. So it's cool. I mean, but like independent wrestling, and it's kind of cool because you get to see them in the beginning states, and a lot of these guys are amazing.
Not bad.
Like I said, you see Keith Lee.
They're all hungry and raw.
Exactly.
And a lot of passion.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like when you watch XKO.
Mm-hmm.
They're pro MMA fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their goal is to get into UFC, and they show you that passion. They show you that blood, sweat, and tear. They're in that ring. They want to show out. Same thing with the wrestler. They want to show out. They want to bring. It's like because they want to be talked about. So when you're talked about more and more, they'll show your videos. They'll show you your stuff. They'll share everything. And that's how you see, that's how WWE catches you, and that's how AEW catches you.
That's dope. Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean?
They're looking for you. Okay, so for your show, what you have planned as far as like what you got? Because I remember you were mentioning something about you being distributed. Not only you doing on YouTube, but there was something else in the works still. Or is that something that is took a little pause?
No. Actually, I'm in the talks. I got with an amazing chef. His name is Lee Fan.
Mm-hmm.
And he does yakitori street food, Asian food. And so I came, I was talking, because like I said, I'm a big anime fan. And they always show some really cool foods in the animes.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, man, would you ever think about doing a cooking show?
And duplicate those dishes?
And duplicate those dishes, yeah. And he's like, you know what? It's been in my mind to create something like that. And I'm like, bro, let's try to set something up. And he's like, all right. So I kind of put it out there. It's like, hey, if this show were to come out, would you watch? We're gonna do like the yakitori style, but we're going to bring in like, all right, we're gonna talk about Naruto. Everybody likes the ramen bowl. Everybody looks at it and like, man, I would love to taste that bowl of ramen.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, we're gonna come up with the ingredients. You know what I mean? We're doing a week in advance. This is what we're gonna make. These are the ingredients you're gonna need. Because I've seen other cooking shows and I like them. I like watching Chef. Jon Favreau does one. It's called Chef, based off of his movie. He goes to different places and they show you, but they don't give you like the exact. They're like, oh, go to our website and you can find out the exact ingredients.
I like the part that you want to incorporate and give them a heads up of what they're gonna need, so they can have time to prep.
Yes.
And then the day of, they can just follow with
you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, you're going to need a cup of this. You need a teaspoon of that. You know what I mean? To have it all set. Yeah. So you can cook with us.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? To show it. And I don't think, I haven't seen one like that.
I haven't seen one like that I can think of.
Yeah.
It's that long. And a lot of times they kind of doing, but it's not the same feeling because it's pre-recorded. And like if you're seeing it at the time that you're going to do it, it'll be like, it's different.
So yeah, we're going to go live, but it's going to be on Twitch and YouTube and everything. So you can go back. Like, let's say, I missed it. Let's go back and let me try to recreate it.
That's dope.
So I put it out there and I got a lot of positive feedback. I've actually gotten like a couple of other chefs was like, hey, if you need help, we'll be down.
So is it part of the Candyman or is it going to be a different type of show? It's going
to, I can't, because I want to make it a whole different one. I just want to help. It'll be a fusion. You know what I mean? It won't be like Candyman show, cooking show. You know what I mean? No, it's going to have a totally different name.
Nice.
But it's going to be like, cooking lo-fi, which is that's his company. That's his thing.
Okay.
That's his logo. That's his company, Cooking Lo-Fi. And then Candyman show. So we want to mend it together and create something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had a lot of positive feedback. Like I said, we had chefs and like, hey, we could help. Maybe, so we like prep the foods, you know what I mean? Like we'll get everything ready. We'll have like all the ingredients ready, but we'll have like just to show hey, this is what you're gonna do. This is where we're gonna chop it up. You know what I mean? Like, nice. But we'll have like the food ready, but we want to show you, boom, 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 cut this. And then here's the, we have it there. But yeah, and then of course we got with the nopales imports, and so we're gonna have like different alcohol drinks. You know what I mean? So we're cooking. We'll get with Daniel. Shout out to Daniel. Daniel, we're making this. What kind of drink? What kind of mixture can we mix? To go with the meal.
Ooh, good idea.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we can. Like right now, he has this new wine. It's just now coming to Texas. It's from Califas. It's called Gran Ponche de Mexico.
Gran Ponche de Mexico.
Yeah.
It's a punch, pero it's Mexicano.
It's Mexicano, but it's a pomegranate wine.
Ooh, pomegranate wine.
Pomegranate. It's
good.
It's good. It's good. It's a scary good.
Really?
Yeah, because you're drinking, because you're not thinking like oh man, this is good wine. This is, and then you're like, why is the room spinning? What is going on?
That's funny.
It's like that. It's gonna come up.
Okay.
It's gonna creep up, and it's gonna get you. He found the family. They're from California, Colomas, I think it was a part. And so, he's like, hey, he brought a pallet. He went to the restaurants and like to different little restaurants and stuff like that. Gave him a test.
And what's the name of it?
Gran Ponche de...
Gran Ponche. That's the actual name. That's the actual
Gran Ponche
name.
de Mexico.
But it's technically a wine made out of pomegranate.
Yeah, it's a wine.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a red wine.
Nice.
And he said he sold the first pallet within that first week.
Just like that.
Just like that. People, like all the restaurants that were tasting it, they're like, I want a case. Like, and they were blowing out.
That's dope.
So it's just now kind of it hadn't reached to the stores yet. His goal is to get it into Specs and all the liquor stores. Just like the Mezcal Descartes. Now you can get it at all liquor stores.
That's good.
And it's an award-winning mezcal.
Yeah.
It's won a lot of awards. And it's like when you see the bottle, it's got like the little gold label. It's won all these different awards.
That's dope.
So yeah, if you get a chance, keep an eye out for it. It's making its move here to Texas.
Huh. I hope they started a new trend, the pomegranate wine. I didn't even know that thing existed.
I didn't, bro. I'm serious. Like
real.
I said, it's sweet, but it's not an overpowering sweet like the Moscato. Like Moscato, that's a sweet wine.
Super sweet.
It's like you got to sip it because it's just too much.
Yeah.
But no, this one right here is just
So it's not too dry, but not too sweet, like in between. Because you're always looking for that.
It's a great
that blend.
It's a great mixture.
What? That's dangerously.
That's what I'm saying. It's
That's
a dangerous.
dangerous.
It's a dangerous, delicious drink.
All right, brother. So I think we are pretty much wrapping it up here. So real quickly, tell me all your social media. Where can they find it? Where can they find the newer design shirts?
Of course, Instagram, Candyman Show, Facebook, Candyman Show. You can find us on Twitch. Big shout out to Alice. She's a big blessing. When I got her onto the show, I asked her to be a part of it. She was down for it. And she asked the question, man. She asked one question that no one's really asked me. She's like, what's your goal? What do you want to do?
Right.
And I said, you know what? Fishbowl, I got Instagram, I got Facebook Live, and I got YouTube and everything. But I want to get on all these other the streaming sites.
Right.
I would love to hear Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I told her that. She goes, okay. She was able to get us in there within a week. Like in a week, she was asking me like all these questions, like, "Hey, give me your email address. Just give me a password." And then next thing you know, she sends me a link. She goes, "Here, you're on Spotify." I was like, "Shit!" And then she's like, and then the next day, "Hey, you're on Apple Podcast."
Yep. That one's take the longest.
Yeah.
That one does take the longest.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Here, you're on iHeart."
Yep.
And I'm like, "What? You're on Twitch?" And I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like. Boom, boom, boom! Like within a week's time, she got us on all that.
That's dope.
iHeart podcast, iHeart Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Twitch, of course Facebook, Instagram. With all that, she gave me all that. I was able to get our link tree in.
Yeah, I see.
So we got the link tree. If you go to Linktree, if you go to our show page on Instagram or anything like that. Click on there on our bio, it'll take you directly to our link tree, and you can see all our streaming sites.
Yeah,
you can
have everything.
Yeah, we have them all there. We have them all in there. You can find us there. If you're looking to get a shirt, if you want to get a shirt, you can go on our show page on Facebook or Instagram. I'm trying to get back onto Twitter.
I have one. I don't use it.
Bro, okay, I don't feel bad. I have it too. I think I forgot my password.
The only time that I use is when I share a picture on Instagram. And it.
You got it. Yeah.
That's it. Other than that, I don't care to follow nobody.
That's it right there. I'm right there with you. I got it linked set to where it'll share it on there automatically.
So I have stuff there. But that's it.
Okay, I don't feel bad now. I was like, man, I have a Twitter. I really don't mess with it.
The way that I see it is that I keep putting consistent. I got a goal. I have a mind and vision of where it's supposed to be. But for me, I feel like I need to consistently put content. And once people find and keep finding about it, then automatically they into Twitter and stuff, and they see the post, and they'll be able to go follow, and maybe we can be more interactive. That's just my thinking,
right?
But again, everybody thinks different.
I don't know. I feel like Twitter is good. It's cool, but I feel like a lot of it's like
I don't even get it.
I feel like it's more. I think it's similar to DJing. Everything's visual now. Mm-hmm. They want to see the TikTok. They want to see the YouTube. They want to see
IG is huge for business
Instagram,
and DJs, bro. One of my DJs that I work with, that fool gets work all the time on freaking IG all the time. Yeah. And recently he's been getting a couple more on TikTok. Yeah. But for the most part, IG all the freaking time. Yep. Not even Facebook no more.
And what's crazy is like Facebook and Instagram, they see that. So now they're trying to
copy
TikTok. Like,
no.
They're doing the reels. They're doing all that stuff, and it's like you're just copying TikTok. They're trying to get all
that's what they were saying. Yeah, it was successful because they were showing pictures, and that's what everybody was there to see. Pretty pictures.
Now everybody wants to do the reels. Now Instagram's starting to do reels, and nobody wants that. Nobody. It's like if I want to do reels, I'll put
it in there because they wanted to push it in there, and they're gonna push the reels to people. Yeah. That was the only reason.
And they've even stated that Instagram's like, we want reels. They said it was a tester. But no, they're keeping it, and a lot of people don't like it. They're like, I just want to see. I like pictures. I like posting pictures. Yeah, a lot of people like posting. We like posting pictures.
One of the Kardashians did something about they wanted to get old IG back, and they're very influential as far as what happens.
I think that was
Kylie. I think.
Yeah, that was Kylie. Yeah.
And when they talk, sometimes they're so influential that many people will follow and listen to them. Whether they take a tequila ID or not, they still have influence over them.
Yeah, and it's like we say it. They don't say nothing. Oh, but Kylie says it. Yeah. She's got all these. She got million some odd. Watch your people.
Yeah, it's a big deal if she leaves them. Yeah, and goes to wherever else she wants to go to. Yeah, because I think she did Snapchat the same way, where they were trying to be funny, and she left them and went back to IG, I guess. And she can do that.
Well, see, that's what I hate. Like, I used to do Facebook Live, but they started cutting out because of the music, and I would have the artists on the show. And they would still mute my music because we would be playing their music.
I was one of the first ones to ever have Facebook Live, like one of the first few, because I had a video that went pretty well. It wasn't even my video, but it had 1 million views on my page. So I had a bunch of people following me. Not a huge, but it was decent enough that before, like a month before anybody got live, I'm like, what the heck is this live button? And then I clicked that, like, you don't have it? Like, no, what is it? I don't know. Let me hit on it. And after that, it's like, I grew out of it within shortly after, like, and I see why, but to me, I feel like I like the YouTube thing that I would like to put a video there and let it live there.
See, and I'm starting to grow on Twitch because they're not muting me.
Twitch. See, we're not having done the Twitch. Yeah, but that's all live, right?
Yeah, that's all live. I do live on Twitch and on Facebook or Instagram. Nice. I'm sorry. I go live on Twitch where you can watch us, but now when you listen to us, of course, you go to the fishbowl. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I don't do Facebook Live because they constantly mute the music. And it's messed up. And it's like, you're mute. You know how they always put that little note, you're mute, you've been muted. And I would comment like, you can dispute it. I have the artist on the show.
I don't care.
I'm playing his music. I got their permission. No.
But I get them because it's the label and all kinds of other stuff to deal with that wouldn't be enough for them. You know what I mean?
And see, for me, I feel like it's hurting the artist because I'm trying to promote them. Yeah. But you're muting their music.
They're weird.
Yeah, it's like
That's why it's like I post it just because of this, but other than that, like,
it's so much easier. Like I said, if you want to listen, you go to Spotify, you go to all that. You can listen to it there. Yep. You go to
they have Facebook. You know, they have Facebook podcasts, and they took it away because it wasn't working well for them. But I had some shows in there.
Well, you see, the reason why, because everybody's doing the Twitch and YouTube. Why go Facebook podcast? Mm-hmm. You have all these other streaming sites.
It was just the sound, too. It wasn't the video. But
and here's the other thing that I don't like about Facebook. To increase your numbers, if you pay this much.
See, that's the other thing I started disliking that you have to pay every single thing to get out of it. You know what? No, I'm not going to do it.
You're making good numbers, but for this much more, you can get more numbers. Well, no. What you're going to say is that if I pay you, I'm going to pay you so you can open it up for more people, so that you can force it on them.
Yeah.
I don't want to force it on them. If you want to, like, I'll share it, like promote it like that. But I don't want it to, because you see it like when you're scrolling on Facebook, you see all these things popping up.
I want the genuine, organic, growth of the people, even though it's so slow at times that it feels like, but they're solid that they want it. For whatever reason, they really like whatever, or they found it and they enjoyed it, and they want to follow it by themselves without having to be
forced down their throat.
Even though I might be posting a few times more than
I post like crazy.
Still, I appreciate that they're there.
Yeah.
All right, brother. So we're running out of time. So Candeman everywhere.
Candeman Show everywhere. You can find us on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook. Twitter. I'm not there all the time, but you can find us there. But if you go on you click the link tree on our bios, and you'll find us all down there.
And it's Candy with an E.
Yeah,
Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman.
Like, it's but like the movie?
No, that's the Y. That's what
that's
the Y.
E.
Yeah, the Candyman, of course, because of Cande.
Candelario.
Yeah, because it's like, growing up, nobody could say Cande. They like Candy. It's like, all right, Candy.
I've been called Crispy, bro. So
right, bro. Yeah, right. So it's like
no
Candy, and they're like, "Hey, Candy, man, what's going on?" And they're like,
Candy
hey,
man,
that sounds cool. Yeah. So yeah,
pretty cool.
It stuck. So we kept it like that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, bro. Again, we do the show here at Fishbowl too, but I've been knowing that you've been doing your thing for many years, and the way that you are, the way you carry yourself, and the way you're willing to help people out and put yourself out there, bro. I think you deserve to be spotlighted and be talked about, and I hope that you continue to do your thing and have your show grow and be on bigger platforms. I mean, you've been doing your thing, and again, I'm very sorry for your loss, but it's a great thing that he was able to put you in this path, and you were being continually doing it to the point where even after you stopped, you couldn't resist a week later to go back. And for the fact that you're everywhere, like distributed everywhere, I'm pretty sure you're literally all over the world, especially with Fishbowl as well. So Candyman, you are a global Latin factor, senor.
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. And one last question. If anybody was to Google you, search you in any kind of search engine many years from now, what do you hope for them to find from you?
Honestly, that's a good question, man. They can, I wouldn't mind them finding the show, finding things, but for me, I hope they find the content, the people that I have on the show. My thing, like I said, I enjoy having these guests on there and hearing their stories. Right. It's like, I'm cool and everything, but the people I got here, those are the cool people there. You know what I mean? Those are the people listening to their stories. Yep. And I hope, because a lot of them start from the bottom and they blow up and they're doing big things. And I want other people maybe like, oh man, Kenny had this one cat on the show. Man, he was where I was at, where I'm at right now. Yeah. And look at what he's doing. He stopped, working this hard ass 9-to-5 job and living his dream now.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much because it's so true. Like the same thing I think about for me is like, I don't care to be famous, but the people that I bring out in the stories that I know are super dope that I hope that they are. Yeah. Like irrelevant of myself or the podcast. I hope the podcast grows without me, but the people that we bring in, I hope that their story gets heard all over the place because they deserve that. So awesome. All right, brother. Well, thank you very much. This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast. Remember, we are just like you with the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time. ¿Qué pasó, mi gente? What's going on? Thank you very much for checking out this episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where I hope that you are enjoying the content. If you are, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. Tell somebody and help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers for this channel. Again, thank you very much. Go subscribe. We appreciate it.
Walks like a pedo, but in fact he's a flamingo. Coming to Havana, Henry from Puerto Rico. On a pirate ship, he don't know where do we go. The birds of the jungle chasing fortune and fame, but Juan is flamingo is no walker.